Holy cow. You can't spell walk-off without that W.
Yeah, we yelling at the screen every Sunday night. Talk slick through the remote, we just want it right. Front office tripping, man, they can't get it right. Whole city heated, but we still gon' fight. We talking Bulls trade, biz drafts, missed calls, club slump, soft rebuild. We seen it all. Yeah, we loud, yeah, we gritty. I'm a little frustrated, but I still love my city. Yeah, north side, south side, west, we united.
The Chicago Cubs out here right now beating all type of ass. They are comfortably in first place, 26-12 on the season, 4 games better than them STL Kardashians. Meanwhile, our little bros, the Cincinnati Shots, came into this series against the Cubs in second place, but after they got the broom put on them, they are now 20-18 and sitting in last place. And they got swept by the Cubs, and after their last series, they got swept by the Pirates. They haven't won a game all month. Tough bit of road that they driving down. But even with all that, the National League Central is still holding it down. All 5 teams still have a winning record, even with the Reds in an absolute free fall. And it's largely due to this bullpen. You can't have 3 straight walk-offs and not have to talk about the bullpen a lot. They walked the Cubs 24 times this series, which feels like a lot more than what it actually was because just how those walks were coming. They were chunks, walks in bunches. And that series that I just talked about, their series prior to the Cubs, when they lost to the Pirates 3 straight games, they gave out 7 straight walks in one of them games. That's some unconscionable amount of free passes. That never happens. Like historically, that never happens. I don't know who they play next, but I know what their game plan is. Put the bat right on your shoulder and force them to throw strikes. Chances are they probably won't. But this podcast ain't about losers right now. This podcast is about winners. Let's talk about the Cubs. The Cubs are on the verge of history at 1060 West Addison. The Cubs have won 15 straight games at Wrigley Field, and that's the longest home winning streak since the 1935 team. They won 18 in a row. Not to be outdone, their 26-12 record is also the best start to a season since 2016. You know, the kids on social media is all talking about bring back 26. I wouldn't be mad at that from a Cubs fan perspective. Let's do that. Run it back. 2016, bring them vibes back to Wrigley Field. The Cubs put off a crazy 4-game sweep of the Cincinnati Reds, with the first 3 games being done on a walk-off. Throughout the series, the Reds pitching staff was completely lost. I'm going to say it again. They gave up 24 walks this series. And the first game set the tone for what's going to happen. Cubs won 5-4 off a walk-off home run in the bottom of the ninth. Long rain delay before the game could even get started. The Reds jumped out to an early 3-0 lead against the Cubs starter Edward Cabrera. J.J. Bleday opened the scoring with a solo home run in the 3rd inning, and Brian Hayes added a 2-run home run to center field in the 4th inning. Despite all that, Cabrera still got through 6 innings, just allowing 9 hits and those 3 earned runs. The Cubs quickly answered in the bottom of the 4th inning. Suzuki put a 450-foot 3-run home run into the seats, tied that game up at 3. Suzuki had a great start to the series. He finished the game 2 for 3 with those 3 RBIs. But the drama, the Cardi B, was in the late innings. 8th inning, the Reds broke the tie when Spencer Steer hit a RBI single off Ben Brown. The Cubs had the opportunity to tie the game in the bottom half of the 8th inning, drew multiple walks, but failed to capitalize on the momentum when Carson Kelly struck out to end that scoring threat. I was going to be so mad at Kelly if they lost that game. How do you not score in that situation? They had Ashcraft ass on the ropes in the 8th inning. 8 of his last 9 pitches were balls. And here come Kelly trotting into the batter's box and swinging at all 3 of his bullshit. He swung at 3 straight pitches, 3 straight strikes, inning over. Like, bro, force him to throw you something down the middle of the plate. Don't even swing. Chances are he's going to throw something out of the box and you're going to get freebies. I was going to be so mad. Luckily, his teammates bailed him out. Ryan Rollison came in and shut the door on the Reds in the top of the ninth. He struck out the side, perfectly setting the stage for what was going to happen next. Emilio Pagan, whew, he is brutal. The Reds closer, Pagan, he had himself a series, not a very good one, but PCA got to him on this day. He sparked the rally with the leadoff triple. He flew around the bases after what should have been a catch against the Ivy for their center fielder, and the ball ended up on the ground. And PCA had that stand up triple to start the inning. After that, Dansby Swanson struck out, and Nico Horner delivered a clutch game tying sacrifice fly to left field, allowing PCA to score. And with two outs and the game tied at 4, Craig Counsell made another genius call. He put in Michael Confordo as a pitch hitter. Now, you all remember the beginning of the season, Confordo was not having the best go of it, but he's been decent in his last amount of opportunities. He doesn't get too many of them. In fact, this was his first. He hadn't played in the last previous 4 games up to this point. And what did he do? He delivered in a massive way. He smashed his first career walk-off home run, and he put it in the left center field bleachers. Cubs win 5-4. This is what we mean when we say stay ready. Michael Conforto hadn't had an at-bat since the San Diego Padres series. That's 4 games ago, and he got off the bench ready to swing more wood than a middle-aged divorced dad in Alsip high off a pack of blue chews. Hero. Game 2, another nail biter. The Cubs won this one 3-2. This one went 10 innings. Michael Busch tied the game with a massive home run in the 8th inning. And in the bottom of the 10th, Busch hit a ground ball up the middle of the diamond that Ellie De La Cruz, I talked about him coming into the series. I think he was a sneaky MVP play. He did not have a great series himself, and this one was his worst showing of this series. I think he took his eyes off the ball, maybe looking at the runner, maybe not paying attention to seeing ball and glove. Something like I don't know what happened, but he misplayed the ball. It got behind him. The ball rolled into center field, allowed for the ghost runner Dansby Swanson to score all the way from second. Ball game. Cubs take it again. We empty the benches for the second night in a row. Game 3, we're gonna do it again. Arguably, I think game 1 was the most electrifying game of the series, but game 3 might have been the more thrilling one. Cubs are trailing 6-4 in the bottom of the ninth. Again, no doubt in my mind the Cubs are going to pull out all of these games. No doubt. Down 2 runs in the bottom of the ninth. PCA once again. Pete Armstrong. He puts one in the opposite field. Game time home run. Get the extras one more time. 10th inning. Michael Busch. Guess who? Draws a guess what? Bases loaded walk. And that's not the only time they did that this series. The Reds, the Reds walked in runs multiple times in a 4-game series against the same team. Who does that? This team cannot pitch. Michael Busch, the hero once again. Bases loaded, walk to seal the deal. Cubs win 7-6. Game 4. Can we complete the sweep? You know we damn well will. And this time, no drama, no Cardi B, no late inning heroics. The Cubs crushed the Reds early. They blew the top off this game in the 4th inning. They scored 7 runs. The first 9 batters to walk up to the plate in this inning for the Cubs, they all got on base. That was crazy. Who had the best game of game 4? You could say Michael Conforto once again. Best players of the series. Michael Conforto was an absolute beast in this series. In game 4, he went a perfect 3 for 3, home run, a double, 2 RBIs, 2 runs scored. Remember all that talk early in the season of him maybe getting DFA'd, especially with Seiya finna come off the IL? Well, since Seiya was activated, that was game 13 of the series. I'm glad they didn't DFA him because since that game, Michael Conforto is slashing 361, 467, and 667. That is amazing. Now, for context, he doesn't play every day. In that time span, he's got 9 hits, 5 doubles, 2 home runs, 5 RBIs. That's only 20 at bats, but still, that's showing up when your number's called. It may not be every day, Shit, it may be multiple days in between that time. But when you're more hot and ready than a Little Caesar $6 pizza, that's what the Cubs need, especially with all these injuries. We need it when we need it. Also got to highlight Ian Happ. His on base streak going. He was the primary offensive engine in game three. He had 3 hits that game, including that crucial 2-run home run. Michael Bush also stepping up. He had back to back walk-offs. Shot at Emignaga once again. Dominated game four. He struck out 10 batters over 6 innings, 99 pitches, only allowed the 1 earned run. Everybody's performing at an elite level right now. That's how you win 19 of the last 22 games. Everybody is just showing up and showing out. Everyone's stepping up to the plate, stepping up to the responsibility of picking up the next man and just getting it done. Now, it's May. We're not even at the quarter mark redemption and at the third mark. We can talk about that when we get to Memorial Day, which is still 2 weekends away from now. But yeah, it's early. So what? Let's see what you do in September. That's fair. You can't win a division. You damn sure can't win a pennant in May. You can lose it though. And while the Cubs are having all this injury, bad luck, and we're gonna talk about more of it, unfortunately, in a second. You got guys, primarily the offense, making sure there is no slump that we talked about. Will there be regression? I don't foresee it. I don't see a regression coming from any players, 'cause none of the players are playing above their head right now. All the players are doing what are playing their normal. Now, would there be a regression in outcome? Sure. You're not going to win 19 of 22 all season long. That never happens. Not even the 20s. I don't even think the 27 Yankees did some stuff like that. Not even the what 0-1 Mariners. But when you can get success out of guys just doing their job, that goes far. That says a lot. And I'm happy with that. The results will be the results. And if everybody's doing their job, the results are largely going to be positive. As for the worst performance of this series, it's got to be Cincinnati Reds bullpen. They got to take the cake. They repeatedly walked batters, failed to find a strike zone, and blew late leads in games throughout the entire series. Ellie De La Cruz, I'm going to talk about that. He had that tough moment in game two where his error cost him a win. Go back to the first episode we did for the season. When I said that he's a sneaky MVP play, if he brings down his errors and if he can increase his offensive output to mask some of the pitching woes that this team is going to have. Well, in that game, that didn't happen. It cost him a dub. But for the Cubs, I do want to talk about Corbin Marvin. He did blow the save in game three. Just a disaster out there. The teammates held him up. They didn't let him have to hold that for too much long. But he did give up 3 earned runs and 2 home runs without recording a single out in that half of the inning. Now, unfortunately, there was some bad news. And unfortunately, the Cubs are all too familiar with this type of news. Opening day starter, Matthew Boyd. The Cubs pitching staff was hit with another massive blow. Cubs opening day starter, left Matthew Boyd suffered a torn meniscus during this series. And he underwent successful surgery Thursday after the finale. They're calling it an absolute bizarre freak accident. He injured his knee while at home, simply just sitting down and playing toys with his kids or whatever he was doing. Tough break, and I don't mean that literally. Well, I want to be mad because bro was getting hurt on his off day, but I get it. I too am a millennial, and I too am a father. One minute you're playing with your kids, and the next minute you're in the waiting room at an Advocate urgent care. I get it. It be like that sometimes. The career council said the boy's going to be out for at least 6 weeks, and then you're going to need a month to like ramp up, get back to speed, get the knee to heal. Got your assignments down in double A or triple A to get your arm strength back up. So if you project that out 6 weeks from now, you're looking at close to All-Star break. And then if you give them the month to get ramp up and get back to full speed, August. August. If all things stay on the course, That's around the time Justin Steele could possibly get back. Can the Cubs maintain until August for Matthew Boyd and Justin Steele? That's a tough call. Jed Hoyer and Carter Hawkins were going to have to make a move because even while the Cubs are flying high right now, even while all the projections have the Cubs winning this division, going away, being a top seed in the NL playoffs, winning 100 games perhaps, you can't honestly predict that they can win a pennant with these injuries. You can't honestly predict they won't be a regression in outcome while carrying these type of pitching injuries. It's going to be tough. The Cubs are going to need to make a move for another starting pitcher. They tried their damnedest to be so starter pitching deep in the offseason for all of it to fall apart. They're going to have to dip into those reserves again in the minor leagues. What I'm hearing is nobody's off limits. Kevin Alcantara, too. No one's off limits. Can they get a Sandy out of Miami? Maybe. We'll see. He's 2 years removed from a Tommy. So we'll see what happens. Upcoming schedule with this sweep in the books, the Cubs are going to have to put those brooms down and pack their bags and go head out to Arlington, Texas to play those Texas Rangers. 3-game weekend series against those boys. Then next week, they travel to Atlanta to take on quite possibly the best team in all of Major League Baseball. The original Superstation versus BGN. Rest in peace, Ted Turner. The two first national teams, the two first national fan base teams of Major League Baseball. Got the Atlanta Braves against the Chicago Cubs. I'm not talking about the Yankees or the Dodgers. They don't count. Bandwagon fans. Not what I'm talking about. We shall see how the Cubs fare against that. That would be a good measuring stick series for the Cubs to see how they stand up shoulder with a team that's also walking away from their division. I can't with everything that's going on with the Mets, everything that's going on with the Phillies and the Miami Marlins and the Nationals being mid, I can't see how the Braves don't keep a 8+ game lead in that division all summer. I don't know how. They would have to do a serious step back or someone had to go on a serious winning streak for it to happen. And to their credit, the Phillies have gotten their act together. They're only a couple of games under 500 now after losing 10 or 11 straight games. They're back in the mix to say the least. The Mets, not so much. They're still 11 games under, last I checked. Finally, after the series in Atlanta, the Cubs will come back to Chicago, not to Wrigley. They're going to go to 35th Street for a 3-game set with the White Sox, the Pale Hose, Jerry's team, a guaranteed rate field. And I guarantee you this, the Cubs are going to beat that ass there too because the Cubs fly a W all over Chicago. Appreciate you tapping into this latest episode from the Frustrated Chicago Sports Fan channel. Don't matter if you was watching on YouTube or listening on Spotify or Apple. Make sure you like, subscribe, share with everybody on the block, and hit the notification bell so you never miss none of our daily drops. And to all the guys from the Shy, we say 3 things. Bear down, fly the W, and sell the team, Jerry.